Hey everyone, welcome to Bite Size Tea. Okay, I have seen it doing the rounds. So I'm talking about the video of course, Harry on stage at the 805 benefit that's run by Kevin Costner. Well, I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions, and I'm going to give you mine in this video. So if you're still here, then welcome. Go grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax as we get into some bite-sized tea. So hey everyone, so recently we have seen some footage coming out and I'm going to show you the footage. I've slowed it down and I'm going to then talk about it. So the footage, as most of you have probably seen by now, is that Harry was up on stage. Now this was classed as a surprise visit. I'm going to be talking a little bit about that in what I think, but first of all, let's look at the footage and then we're going to discuss what I think really happened here. So here it is.
Okay, so watch as Harry, so this is like fast forward a little bit just to give you an idea of kind of what's going on. So he's come up to the stage, she's come up to him, and it looks like she goes to grab the mic and then she walks off. But you sort of think, okay, there's nothing to that. But when we look at it again, when we actually slow this down and we really focus on it. So it looks like he goes up to her to try and get her to come off on stage. She's talking. Now, this to me is kind of rude anyway. So he's kind of walked off then without her. Then someone seems to approach her, which you can't quite see here. And then she does decide to come on the stage, which we'll see in a minute. So she walks over, says hi, taps him on the back to acknowledge. He obviously then acknowledges her. She goes to grab the mic. Well, not grab the mic, but she goes to put her hand up as if she expected him to hand the mic. He then moves away, ignores her. She turns around and walks off stage. Now, this is, in my opinion, showing the true signs of their relationship. I think that it was probably planned for him to speak and to hand out the award. She just is an add-on. So he's trying to encourage her to come up on the stage with him. She's kind of ignoring him. So he's obviously like, well, fine, I'll just go up on the stage because I'm being expected. This person then, because I've slowed this down so you can see. So this person on the right is clearly obviously someone that is to do with managing the stage. So he then goes over, I guess, to try and encourage Meghan to come on the stage. She's still busy like having a conversation because that's obviously clear and far more important. So then she then decides, okay, fine, I'll come on the stage. And this is what we see. So we see her then finishing her conversation because it's all in Meghan's time. And then whilst Harry's talking, we then have her sort of then deciding, okay, yeah, that's fine, I'm going to come out on stage. I don't believe that she was meant to come out on stage. I think this was kind of added on, probably because she's not very happy about being not included in things, and obviously he's the one that people are far more interested in. I don't believe this was a surprise visit. I think the reason they didn't include or advertise them is because they come with a lot of backlash and they want to, it's a business thing, they want to encourage as many people as possible to donate and turn up. And if people knew these two were coming, the chances are many people might have boycotted. But anyway, so people I still think they quite like Harry still. People are just not keen on her. So obviously he's talking and he's doing his bit. And then as we see in a minute, she then, after finishing her conversation that was clearly far more important, now comes up on stage. So she does what she always does. So she sort of taps him on the back to say, I'm here, after sort of briefly saying hello to the crowd. So obviously Harry's talking to these two here right now. So then she, like you say, you'll see in a minute, she taps him on the back. He then goes and turns to her and they've got to do the show that, we're together because that's what they're telling everybody. We're all loved up. And that's what he does. So she taps him on the back. He then turns to acknowledge her. He puts his arm around her because, again, it's the optics of trying to make it look like they're together. So I think here she assumes that he's then going to hand the mic to her so she could speak into it. But he doesn't. And so what he does is almost like that's irritated him. And he literally pulls away from her. So you see her hand go up. He doesn't even push the microphone towards her. He's like, nope, and doesn't just sort of carry on talking whilst they're still together. He turns his back on her. he literally drops his arm from behind her back and turns away from her and steps to the side. Now that, in body language between couples, is one of the most telling things. This is not a couple in love. Look, so she immediately drops her arm because she's annoyed. And then instead of just sort of standing there or moving closer to him, she walks off. And Harry doesn't even acknowledge the fact that she's walked off. It doesn't faze him, bother him. So she just kind of stands there a bit like a lemon and then says, and sort of thinks, right, okay, I'll walk off. And she does. She walks off. We've seen her do something similar to this before. As I've always said, behaviour, body language tells you everything you need to know about somebody. It's not about what they say, it's about what they do. And these two are not in love.
So as you can see, and if you've obviously I've taken the volume down because I have done a bit of a voiceover. But as you can see, it looks as though Harry was asked to hand out an award. So in my opinion, this cannot be a surprise visit, because if this was a surprise visit, then you have to look at the optics. When they do a benefit, everything has to be planned and organised. So I absolutely do believe that Harry was asked to give out an award. I think it is very possible that these two give a donation from their Murchywell Foundation. And so because of that, it secures them a ticket to the event. Now, Harry being the way he is, I think that he was potentially asked to stand up and give an award. Now, if you remember when this happened, I think, was it 2023 when he went up on stage? Again, Meghan tried to grab the microphone from the lady, and of course the lady refused, and so Meghan was just left kind of not knowing what to do with herself. Well, it seems that this is a similar situation. So what happens, if you look at the footage closely, you can see that Harry goes to walk up on stage. He speaks to Meghan. So I wonder if this was a moment, because again, we don't actually know what was being said. So it feels to me that he spoke to her about coming on stage with him. Now, if you watch, he stands there and it's almost as if Meghan is talking and she's ignoring him. So that then says that we then look at the Harry's behaviour, and it's like he sort of is standing there and it's becoming a bit awkward. So he then walks away and walks on stage. Then we see someone else coming forward. Now, I don't know who this person is, and he seems to talk to Meghan. And then we have Meghan sort of finishing up with her conversation and then walking out on stage. Harry at this point is already talking. He's got the microphone in hand, so he's not registering that Meghan is coming up behind. Now, she does what she often does, and so she puts her hand on his back as if to say, I'm here. He turns, he looks at her, he goes to sort of put his arm, acknowledge, and as he does that, her left arm comes up as if to grab the microphone. Now, at that point, Harry pulls away, and he doesn't just pull away his hand with the microphone, his whole body pulls away from her. He takes a step to his right. Now, that is a big indication of whatever transpired in that moment he was not happy with. Because what you would generally do, especially if you are a couple that's loved up, you would not want your wife to be humiliated. So in that moment, even if it wasn't scripted, he potentially would have either handed her the microphone because she would have been respectful enough to go, hi, hello, and then hand the mic back. But he knows that this is about him. And he knows that once she has that microphone, she'll make it about her. So he refuses. Because as I've said, if you're a loving couple, this would not even enter your mind. You would not have an issue. If your wife goes to reach for the microphone, you would not have an issue in handing her the microphone. But he has an issue with that. And not only that, it shows in his body language. So he pulls away and steps away from her, which is very, very telling. Then you watch Meghan and she looks completely like she doesn't know what to do with herself. So she stands there for like a few seconds and then walks off stage. Now, again, she's just been humiliated by Harry. Now, if I liked Meghan's behaviour, if I liked her as a person, I would actually feel quite bad for her, because that's in front of a lot of people, and that's just happened. But I don't. Because what I do think is that her coming up on stage was not necessarily something that was scripted, in a sense. I think that Harry was asked to hand out an award, but he chose to possibly just include her for argument's sake. But then she took it one step further and wanted to grab the microphone, which then would make it about her and not Harry. So I think that obviously Harry, being clued up to that, was like, no, you're not having the microphone. This is my thing. Because he doesn't even acknowledge her. When she walks off, she walks off and goes back to the sort of group of people that are sort of off stage, he just carries on. Doesn't even acknowledge the fact that she's walked off. Now, the fact that it happens very quickly, it's not like she's standing there with him for a little bit and then walks off to let him have his moment. It's the fact that she goes to grab the microphone. Well, she puts her hand up as if it looks as if she's going to take the mic or grab his hand with the microphone to then speak into it. He refuses to allow her to do that. So she just looks embarrassed and looks as if she just flounces off stage. It is so obvious. Now, I'm not just saying this because I don't like Meghan and Harry. It's very obvious for the eyes to see, because if this was a normal situation, what she potentially would have done was just stood next to Harry and just stood there for a while, and then maybe kind of done some sort of gesture and then walked off to make it seem like, oh, come on, I've said hi, I've stood with you for a little bit, now I'm letting you have your moment, and that's fine. But she didn't. She went to grab the microphone or grab his hands, direct the microphone to her. He pulled back and then walked away from her, stepped away from her. And then she instantly just sort of stands there and then walks off stage. So that was not planned. That was not meant to happen. And so I imagine there's going to be some serious words after that fact. And every time I say this, every time you look at their behaviour, Harry, in my opinion, is very reactionary. But he's definitely getting wise to the way that she is. Now, those two are in I would say, almost like a business relationship now. They're not together romantically, because that is not the behaviour of a man that loves his wife. And she doesn't behave like somebody that loves her husband. You've only got to look at the recent Instagram photograph that she put up, where she'd distorted the photograph to create Harry to look quite bad. So this is a woman that doesn't respect Harry. You know, the fact that she devalues him all the time. My husband, H, she devalues him. And you now have the fact that we've seen in various interviews that Harry does not like or respect Meghan. He looks angry a lot of the time. He looks miserable when he's around her. When he's not with her, he seems to be a bit more his jovial self. So this is the proof that we see. And as I've always said, and you can put this in your own, things that are happening for you in your life, it's actions. It's not words. Words are easy. But you watch how someone behaves. And when these two are together, you see the fakeness that they put out there, but you see them the way they walk. Like, for example, we've seen plenty of footage that when the cameras are on, a lot of the time they act like they're a loving couple. But the minute the cameras are off, or we see someone taking some footage, they're not together. They're not hugging. They're not touching each other. It's a completely different scenario. And by this, it looks to me that Harry's had enough. He's had enough of her. He is going along with a lot of things because for the most part, the way they've presented their relationship is that they're still together. So he's kind of got to go along for appearances' sake. But you can see that he's not interested. And no one's interested in her. It's not, we want Meghan to come and give an award. It's Harry. Because whether we like it or not, people still have that level of something for him because of him being connected to the royal family. So this is what we're seeing. This is what we're seeing. And I think we're going to see more of this. Now, if you haven't seen my other video, I've got another video on my TandT channel, which talks about that they are being awarded this humanitarian award. I have done a video on that. So if you haven't seen that, then please go across and watch that. Because again, I think this is very telling behaviour. There is definitely something going on behind the scenes where people like Harry and Meghan are being rewarded for behaviour that is pretty terrible. And I think this goes to show the opposition of, you know, we've got people that are actually doing really good things and sometimes getting no notice whatsoever. But you've got people like Harry and Meghan who are definitely doing terrible things, but seem to be aligning with shady people and getting rewarded for it. Yeah, but anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Is there anything else that you would like me to discuss on this channel? I'm asking people to let me know what you would like. I don't always want to discuss Harry and Meghan. I want to make sure that I can discuss other things. So is there something that you see on social media, in the mainstream media, that you would like me to dissect and discuss here on this channel? If you haven't followed my TNT channel, please go across and do that. I want to thank everyone that's supported this channel, that has joined up as a member on this channel, that is trying to keep me going. I really, really do appreciate you very, very much. If you'd like to treat me to a cup of coffee as a thank you, then you can do. It's not necessary. Just liking, sharing the videos, subscribing is really all I want from you guys. But for those of you who email me and say, can I support you in extra ways, you can treat me to a cuppa. You can become a member if you choose to. But yeah, or go across and watch me on my other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, etc. That being said, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, whatever you are doing, and I'll see you in the next video. But as always, I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye.